So it's been a while that I stopped making videos, and in that period we did some other works actually here and there. My previous office was super far from my other works, so we had to come closer a little bit so I can work efficiently. It's been 1 month, I didn't make any videos, and now we are back. In this episode, I wanted to answer some questions about ourselves, who we are, what are we doing as a business, and do I have any partners? Am I alone on this business? So basically, I've got a couple of partners. I can call them friends, you can call them partners. It doesn't matter actually. For me, it's something similar. We are a couple of friends who decided to go into that business. I can address myself the little brother of them, and I'm a little partner of this business. If to say what is exceptional, exceptional means exceptional actually. We wanted to do something not ordinary, and yeah, we are trying to achieve that purpose. The name comes exactly what the word means. Okay, actually, it's a kind of nice question, but at the same time, it's so obvious because once you put millions of dollars in a business, it's not a hobby anymore because it's not an entertainment. You got to earn money out of it. Otherwise, who would put that money into it, right? So if you ask me personally if the watch was a hobby in my life, if I ever loved watches, yeah, but because of its color, because of its shape, because of how it looks like. And I never thought about its mechanism or other components that makes a watch and makes a watch the expensive jewelry in our lives. So no, it wasn't a hobby actually. It was just like a t-shirt, jacket, or whatever. Wow, character. I'm not a person who goes these kind of deep into many cases in my life actually. It's just the jewelry for me, but I can call it as a very expensive jewelry, which you can travel thousands of kilometers. You cannot carry a house with you as a property, that expensive stuff. But if you put a Vacheron watch on your wrist, you can basically trade and buy a house for yourself in another country. And yeah, it's a tool for me more than a jewelry, I can say. What was the moment we decided? So we were sitting with the fellas, drinking and eating, and one of my friends told me that this business is going good. It was like 6 years ago. And back then, if to give an example, basic Cartier watch was around 2,000, 2,500 euros, but it drastically escalated. The prices were going high, like a rocket. So we wanted to catch that bus. In order to be in that bus, we had to invest a lot. So we took pretty quick action, and now we are here. Well, as I told you before, I'm the small partner in comparison to my other friends here. For me, creating this channel was all about my joy, my will to the social media and making videos and taking photos of the watches. So the idea was actually coming from the abilities, the capabilities, and the hobbies that I had in my life already. But if to evaluate this channel that way, I can say it's mostly about trading. We are not doing anything else here. We just want to trade watches, get some new watches, sell the watches that we already have in our stock. It's a part of a business plan. It's just a little makeup on it. Well, it's been 5, 6 years, I can say. In some platforms, we've been working with them for 2, 3 years, but in this watch business, locally, I can say 5, 6 years. There are several reasons about that. In order to sell new watches, you gotta be a branch of a brand, and some brands doesn't want to work with the other brands, and you cannot get 10, 15, 20 different brands and put it in a store so easily. Actually, that wasn't the core point that we wanted to go in that business. The real part was we are easily finding secondhand watches in the market because we know Greece so well, and we have got a lot of friends that we are making business with, and it's easy for us to find secondhand watches. Also in the secondhand market, this is happening for the people who doesn't know about it. If you go to a Rolex retail shop, you can buy an Oyster Perpetual for 11,000 euros, let's say, but those are limited watches. So in the secondhand market, the prices are going up. So basically, secondhand Rolex is generally more expensive than the new ones, which you can find in a retail shop, but you need to wait a couple of years. That's also affecting the price. Nobody would like to wait a couple of years in a queue and then get a watch that they weren't really desire of. So yeah, we are obtaining secondhand used materials, which are not really easy to find on the market, and the prices are high. And Why is the trust so important? Not in this industry only, but everywhere it's like that because, okay, there are 7 billion people living on this earth. It might look so big, but if you are in an industry, in a specific industry, everybody knows each other. So whatever mistake you make, it's gonna come in front of you at the end of the story and you need to deal with it. Life is also like that, but in life, we are able to escape from problems and just bury it. But in business industry, everybody remembers you, everybody recognizes you, and one mistake can cost your entire life here. And besides that, you gotta be a good person, right? From time to time. So why to do some tricks? Checks, you mean the controls, right? Well, okay. First of all, that was a bit of a hard part of this business because you need to be sure that the watch is authentic. Every part is authentic. So we send our watches immediately to our watchmaker. He's making the general checks and controls, diving deep if not sure about it. And at the end of all the controls, if he's being 100% sure about the authenticity of the watch, then we are buying the watch and put it in our stock and put it on Chrono24 and the other platforms that we are working with. So yeah, but if to say detailedly what we are doing, we are checking the mechanism, the case, the bracelet, the strap, the material with the specific devices that we have, if it's a gold, steel or whatever, if there's needed to be a identification to be made. So yeah, there are detailed examinations of the watch. In the second-hand market, the criterias are pretty basic actually, if this is going to be sold or not. So by the time you understand which watches, which models, which brands has got a second-hand market value, so we need to focus on that because we don't want to buy a watch and wait a couple of years and not being able to sell it. It's going to be a loss. So criterias are basically about the marketing strength of that brand. How can I tell if a watch is a good investment? It's pretty linked to the previous question actually. If, for example, Rolex has a strong marketing strategy, they're really powerful in that area. So it will always have a second-hand value. We are not putting the value as a seller or a reseller. Basically, the brands are creating their own values. So we are relying on them and everybody in the world also doing the same thing. Of course, many times. But it was just because of the distraction of our colleagues, because we have got several branches and people are coming to sell their watches to us. And pretty expensive, high-value watches, they're calling me or my partners to go to check the watch first and then sending it to the watchmakers. But for some brands, for example, if the value of the watch is like 100, 150 bucks, you know, sending it to the watchmaker and making all the checks and doing all the stuffs are costing even more than the price of the watch. So we are just buying them in any case to have them in our stock. So a couple of times actually we made mistake and yeah, the watches were not authentic. So we just throw it away. Most difficult part of the business? The money part actually. You gotta invest a lot in order to showcase all your stocks. And many of those watches are waiting in the stock for so long and you gotta still make the maintenance. And for an automatic movement watch, the maintenance costs up to 1,000 euros, depending on the model and the brand. Besides that, okay, of course we're gonna take care of the watches that we have and we need to be consistent about what we are doing. If you invest a couple of million euros and keep those watches in your stock, of course, they are not losing their value, but it's just laying down over there. Just like the other businesses, actually, the same stuff. Why did I start this channel? I don't know, I was just staying home doing nothing. I had some time to spare for it, so I did it. The first recommendation would be buy the watches that people would recognize as a brand. So it means that you can sell it easily afterwards whenever you need money. And second is if you think that you will need money, don't buy a watch because you will need that money. Just keep it, you know, buy something else. Because though I always recommend my friends not to buy a watch with their last 2,000 euros because if it's your last 2,000 euros, why are you? This is a luxury thing, you know, this is a luxury hobby, it's an investment. It's like you have the last pennies in your pocket and you're saying, I'm gonna go to play golf tomorrow. No, don't do that. The watch is the same thing. The third, don't buy the brands that are fashion brands. I don't want to name it, but you know those brands. They're not producing their own mechanisms. Don't buy watches from them. You cannot resell them. You cannot sell them. It's gonna die in a couple of years, those watches. Don't make this mistake. I don't know. I would stream, I guess. I would still have a YouTube channel about some other thing, which currently I have. Probably I would focus on that more. Yeah. Why they need to trust us? I need to answer that question with the metrics. If you go to Chrono24 website, to our channel, which is the link in the description, and you can check our shipping time, average handling time for each message, and how you can see how many watches we sold. You can see the satisfactions of the customers that we worked with together in the past, and it can give you a little bit of an idea. And we are a company that we would like to stay here more than everybody desires. And also, I risk myself, and I'm in front of the camera right now. Some people know me, and I cannot get away with anything, right? So I'm gonna be here. You can trust us, and you can always contact me. By the way, when you are texting us on Chrono24, I'm the guy who you're talking to on that channel. Well, people are gonna continue to see the same things. We're gonna buy new watches, I'm gonna advertise them, I'm gonna give you the specs, I'm gonna show you the videos and the details, photos of those watches. Basically the same things, but we will try to manage it in a different way. So yeah, we will see actually. I'm also excited. I missed to make videos. It's been more than a month. I never thought that I would miss it. So I will be preparing myself so good for the next video. It's gonna be with a watch. I didn't decide it yet, but it's gonna be a nice video. So until the next time, stay exceptional.